A 5G hotspot can keep you connected. Welcome back to another Techstination interview. I'm Fred Fishkin, and with us from Inseego is Senior Vice President of Product Management, Adam Gould. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Thanks, Fred. Great to be here.
Well, Inseego has been developing cellular technology solutions really for years now. Give us a bit more background about the company.
Well, sure. Yeah, we're actually celebrating our 25th year as a public company this year, so we've been around quite a while. We've seen, many generations of cellular, 2G, 3G, 4G, now 5G. So been doing it for a while. We're probably best known for we created the MiFi Hotspot category, which is, I think, what we're going to talk about here today. So we're still actively working on those, and on our second generation of 5G hotspots.
And the new one is called the MiFi M2000 series. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
So tell us about this. Tell me about the features.
Well, it's got the latest 5G technology in it, so it's going to give you great performance on 5G networks. It's got Wi-Fi 6 in it, so it's going to give you fantastic wireless performance, and it's going to be a powerful vehicle in the world of 5G, which is where hotspots are really kind of play a crucial role.
So this is equipped with a USB-C port. It can also charge devices too, from what I understand.
Yep, it can. Yep.
So you've got the battery in it to run the hotspot. How long can it operate? I know there are a lot of variables here, but how long can it operate on battery?
Yeah, there is a lot of variables, Fred. It's sort of 24 hours mixed use. But then again, it's been interesting over the last year, through the pandemic, that usage of wireless devices has kind of changed a lot. We've seen a lot of people now using hotspots as really their primary internet connection. And so, they're Zoom calls like this, right? They're streaming those calls, constantly hours at a time. And, they're really using their hotspots for far more than we once thought they were going to. It's really become kind of an essential part of the work experience, especially in this world of remote working that, while it's been pretty extreme over the last year, actually isn't going to change. It is still going to be with us, for quite a while to come. It's a sort of the new way of working as remote as a big part of it, and hotspots then play a big role.
Now, are these people that have the many who have taken to the road in RVs and such, or people using them at home as alternative?
Yeah, I mean, it's really all over the place. Certainly the RV community is a big one, and but it's people using them at home. Something like 25% of the country doesn't have internet access in their homes, and so you give them a hotspot. Now suddenly they can gain access to the internet from home, where they might have had to go into work before. And further, the other interesting thing is for the IT guy in a company, right, with all the remote workers, they want to make sure that you're accessing their corporate network in a very secure way. And we design our products with security from the ground up, right? We spend a lot of effort making sure that the device itself is secure, and of course 5G itself is a very secure connection. And setting up a Wi-Fi network can be difficult. Most people don't know how to really kind of optimize the security in Wi-Fi. And then furthermore, you have, people like myself who, obviously a bit of a techno geek, but I've, while I've set up the security on the Wi-Fi network, I also have over 200, connected devices in my home. And, all of those are potential security holes. So I know that my IT manager would much rather have me give me a hotspot that they know is secure, and have me use that for work, and let my home network be for whatever it is I need for home. So security is another big piece of the hotspot world.
Well, describe for us what the setup is like for the consumer here in terms of getting this up and running.
Yeah, I mean, it's really very straightforward. I mean, you go to go to the screen. You find, turn the device on. It immediately connects to the network of whatever the SIM card you put into the device. Connects to the network, turns on Wi-Fi. You go to the screen. You look at it. It'll tell you what the SSID is, the network name, and what the password is. Put that into your device, your laptop, your phone. You just connect to it just the way you would any other Wi-Fi network, and there you go. You're good to go. And of course, if you want to change the Wi-Fi name and make it more personal, you can do that too. So it's very straightforward. You're really out of the box, ready to go in a minute or two. Very quick.
And the speed is going to be dependent upon the signal that you're getting from your carrier?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like any other wireless device, depending on the density of the network in your area, depending on whether you have 4G or 5G in that area, where you are in your house, et cetera. Speed definitely, speed can vary for sure. But it's also the great thing about a hotspot, and why it's even more important in kind of the 5G world. The early days of any network, you don't have very dense cells. You don't have a lot of coverage, and so you might not always have a great signal strength. And furthermore, the other thing about 5G is, while there's a massive amount of spectrum, most of that spectrum is higher frequency, and therefore it doesn't travel as far and penetrate buildings quite as well as some of the lower frequencies. And what that means for you is that hotspot use case of putting it by the window, grabbing a great signal from outside, and then having it convert to Wi-Fi inside is really the best way to get a 5G experience for all your devices. And that's going to be a great hotspot use case for years to come.
Very interesting. So tell us about the costs involved here. What should consumers expect? I know this is very much carrier dependent and there are different offerings, but many carriers now are trying to sell people on the idea of using 5G for their main internet connections.
Yeah, they are. I think we're seeing some very, very, I won't go into the exact price plans, but we're starting to see some very innovative price plans that are coming out with 5G. Absolutely right. The carriers are starting to use this. They start to want to convince you that wireless is a great alternative solution to any wired connection to your home, right? And whether that's through a hotspot, we also have a whole portfolio of fixed wireless devices as well, meaning a device that kind of acts instead of a cable modem and does a similar kind of thing as a hotspot, but now it's plugged in and it's meant to be sort of part of your home, right? So, with the amount of spectrum that 5G has, it's really enabling these operators to have a lot of network capacity and therefore really compete well with some of the wired solutions.
So tell us about the cost involved of the device itself, the M2000.
You're talking about as far as the price points?
Right, people wanting to purchase this.
Well, again, kind of depends on the operator. Each one of them has different strategies as far as whether they're subsidizing, how much they're subsidizing, promos, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really dependent on the operator, but what you'll get is a really a great quality device that kind of can really last you for a good long time.
And there are specific carriers that you're working with today, bringing these to market?
Yeah, we're bringing this really kind of worldwide. We have it's being sold in the U.S. through Verizon, through T-Mobile, U.S. Cellular. We've got it in international operators like Swisscom in Europe. So it's really become a global device, and it's been one of the big transformations for us as a company. Actually, is we've really become over the last couple of years very much a global player in the 5G space.
What do you say to consumers who say, well, my phone connect as a hotspot, what's the difference?
Well, I think two things. Number one, phone users really, even today, we're pretty selfish on our battery life, right? Battery is still key, and trying to make sure, of course, when you're locked in your house and you're just plugged in all day, that's a different story. But, once you're out and about, you really want to preserve your battery life. And so using your phone as a hotspot is really going to drain your battery very quickly. And so having that separate hotspot really allows you to kind of get the most out of your phone battery. The second thing is that, with a phone, your 5G signal is only as good as where you are, right? You're going to put your phone to your ear or what have you. And if you don't have a 5G signal at that spot in your home or your building, then the quality is going to be poor. Whereas with a hotspot, like I said earlier, you put that on a window, and by the window, grab that outside 5G signal and now use it inside as Wi-Fi. It gives you a much better experience. And then finally, one of the issues with 5G and with really any new technology is heat. And with a phone, when you go into those highest speed 5G connections, they're often only able to sustain about 10 minutes in that 5G connection. Then they just have to start to drop down to 4G in order, because the device gets too hot. Well, at Inseego, we spend a lot of work, a lot of effort to heat sink that heathen device to really make sure it handles it well. And so we've had our devices streaming 5G signals for literally hours. And so if you really want to get the best performance out of your network, you go to a device that's for that, a hotspot, as opposed to your phone, that's not what its primary purpose.
And we talked about it a little bit ago, but where do you see this going from here, this technology, in terms of becoming maybe a real competitive broadband alternative for consumers?
You mean 5G in general?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. I mean, one of the things that I like to kind of wireless as your primary internet connection is really one of the first big things that our operators are using 5G for. When you here in the U.S., your home, you get a choice of one cable provider, right? One in any given area is all you get, and maybe a little bit of DSL. Well, what 5G is now bringing is the ability for all the wireless operators to be able to offer you choice, and very competitive choice as well. And part of the secret for that, of course, we got great speeds in 5G. We've got super low latency in 5G. But what we also have is a massive amount of spectrum, a massive amount of network capacity that we've managed to clear out. And the example I always like to give is, if you think about a typical 4G wireless data plan, operators often start to throttle your speeds when you get above, say, 20 gig thereabouts in a month. Whereas the cable operators, they start to care about your monthly capacity when you get up above about a terabyte. I know my personal capacity is about 1.25 terabytes, and I regularly go over that 1.25 terabytes in a month. And that difference, that 20 gigabytes in 4G versus the terabyte in wired, that's the gap that 5G is able to span, to give the capacity necessary for wireless to really be able to compete with the wired offerings. And that's the big reason why fixed wireless has been around for a long time, but it hasn't been really taken off. And this is why we're really now seeing 5G able to play a huge role in allowing 5G to compete against the wired offerings.
But will the speed degrade if my neighbors are using the same technology, using a 5G connection?
Well, really the answer is you can see some degradation, but by the way, that will happen with cable as well. Cable is also a shared well, I'll call it spectrum. It's in a wire, but it's still technically, from an engineering perspective, it's still spectrum. And so yeah, there is some amount of degradation, but we're far from having enough users to for that to really be of a concern. And second of all, the deployment plans of the operators are really going to make that concern. We're going to remove that as concern, really. So the answer is, yeah, technically it's a little bit, but it's really not going to be noticeable, and it's still going to be very competitive with the wired offering in the area.
Terrific. So again, back to specifically the M2000 here.
Yeah,
this can work plugged in or on battery power.
Yep.
Take it with you, use it at home. A lot of versatility here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really, not much bigger than it's a little bit, just looking at the two different devices. I'd pull it up here, but these backgrounds don't allow you to show it. It's a little bit narrower than a phone, a little bit thicker than a phone. So it really, put it in a pocket, put it in your laptop bag, your purse, whatever you have with you. It's really very portable. You throw it in your car next to you. Don't of course be on other devices while you're in your car, right? But certainly for all your passengers, you get to enjoy a great experience with it in your car as well. So yeah, it's really allows you to take your internet wherever you are. It's the great thing about it. With
a lot more security than using a public hotspot, for instance.
Absolutely. And with public hotspots, well, I was going to say you don't know who was on there, but actually these days you pretty much know there's somebody malicious on a public hotspot anywhere these days. There's so many malware or ransomware attacks that are out there. It's the world has gone a little bit nuts with this kind of stuff right now, and so making sure that you have a really secure, reliable connection is even more crucial nowadays than it was only a year ago.
Terrific. So for more information, where can people go?
Well, you can come to Inseego's website, Inseego.com. You can go to any of our partners. I mentioned some of the operators like Verizon, T-Mobile, US Cellular. You can find information about those products as well. So it's hey, just Google the M2000, you'll find us.
Terrific. Once again, it's Inseego, Inseego. Adam Gould, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fred. Great to be here.